What's going on, people? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to another transfer update video for you guys today. In this video, as always, there are plenty of topics to get into. We're going to be discussing Armando Broja and the latest regarding him and the situation involving West Ham. We're going to be discussing Marcos Alonso to Barcelona and the latest regarding that deal. We're going to talk about this Jules Koundé situation because it's a long-ass roller coaster that I really just want to get off of at this point. And we're also going to be discussing Chelsea's deadwood and how Thomas Tuchel and the club are struggling to get rid of their unwanted players and the potential reasons behind that, because there is plenty to get into in that topic. But big up all you guys who are in here. Guys, hit the like button straight away. Let's try and get to 500 likes. That's again our target for this video. So guys, let's try and reach 500 likes by the end of this video. And yeah, like and subscribe. Press the bell notification button as well to be the first to know whenever we deliver any new content on this channel. And let's just get straight into the news. We'll start off with the Armando Broja situation. And we know Broja is looking for an exit. He wants to feel wanted and to have regular game time, which, like I've already said, I do not understand how you don't think you would get that at Chelsea, especially looking at how poor our attack is, how inconsistent it is, and the fact that you are only forward. So I 100% don't understand it. But Chelsea are not currently prepared to cooperate with West Ham regarding Armando Broja. And David Moyes' side is getting frustrated and could look elsewhere as a result of that. And I don't blame Chelsea. I'm actually happy with Chelsea. They should not be cooperating with West Ham on this one. There's no reason why we should be letting a youth player hold us to ransom when they're on a 4-year contract. This isn't the Hudson-Odoi situation. This isn't a show where he could potentially leave on a free or something like that in 2019. No, this guy's on a 4-year deal. The guy has no say in this situation either. He just wants to feel happy and feel wanted, which is again the case of, I don't get it. You would get game time here at Chelsea. It makes literally no sense to me. And also, like I've already said, West Ham are violating the transfer fee. There is no way you pay 30 million for Armando Broja and then you want 150 million for Declan Rice. Like, they're both different levels of unreasonable to me. And West Ham are also a side that is aiming to try and compete for the top 4 places. So getting a transfer like Armando Broja does really well to improve their depth. So why should we give that to them on the cheap? No reason for it. I am really happy with Chelsea in this situation. If they stick to their guns and West Ham look elsewhere, Everton look elsewhere, maybe Armando Broja drops this little temper tantrum and then he actually focuses on his football and being the best player he could be for Chelsea. Because if he puts his focus onto his game, if he focuses on kicking ball, I see no reason why he wouldn't get a lot of game time. I've already said I do not trust any of these attackers that are still here from last season. And from what I've seen in pre-season, I've got no reason to trust them either, because I'm still seeing the same old crap from everybody except the new signing Raheem Sterling. So for me, Broja, I see no reason why you wouldn't get game time at Chelsea. I'm not saying you're a poor player or anything like that. You 100% have every reason to come into this squad and perform better than the attackers I've already seen on this pitch. So how about you put your focus to that? And then maybe, who knows, maybe you do feel loved. Maybe you feel wanted. Maybe you get that extra game time. I don't know. But to me, we should not be selling him to West Ham. I think we will regret that decision sooner rather than later, because we haven't even got a striker in. And I've already said, if I have to deal with a season of Havertz, Werner and Batshuayi as our only 3 forwards, we're in for a long ride. But yeah, that's me on the Armando Broja situation. Moving on to Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso to FC Barcelona is almost set to be ruled out, which means another year of Marcos Alonso, people. It's typical Barcelona, eh? They can find 150 million for Lewandowski, for Rafinha and for Jules Koundé, but 9 million for Alonso? Nah, we can't afford that. 7 million for Azpilicueta? Nah, we can't afford that. We need to wait for our third lever to come in, or whatever waffle excuse they want to come up with. It's annoying. You know me, I've spent every year saying I think we should be looking for better than Marcos Alonso, but there's 2 ways of looking at this as well. Like, for me, Marcos Alonso, we already know what you see is what you get with him. Like, there's going to be his strengths, there's going to be his deficiencies, but we don't look like we're getting wing-back depth. And to me, it's like, if we aren't going to be getting that wing-back depth, then we might as well keep our most experienced wing-back. Like, let's be real about it. Marcos Alonso was an absolutely horrific last season. there was periods of times where you could see the golfing class between him and Ben Chilwell, but between him and our other options, he was potentially better than all of them. Malang Sarr looked clueless on the left-hand side. We tried putting Hudson-Odoi in there for periods, and that didn't work out either. So I'm not too surprised if we end up having to keep Alonso for one last dance, and it's just the same story that it always has been. But we're not getting depth, so it might be for the benefit of Chelsea that we actually keep Alonso. He's at least decent against low blocks. If you give him the ball in space, he has a very good shot on him, and he's good at set pieces. So it's not the end of the world losing Alonso in the situation that we're in right now, but it's looking like his move to Barcelona is unlikely, and that they're going to put their focus on bringing Azpilicueta in instead, which we still understand on that front, but again, we aren't going to be looking for depth in that position either. So what, do we end up keeping the pair of them, or do we just let Azpilicueta go because he really wants to go to Spain? I don't know. We have to play that situation by ear, because that's all going to depend on our next topic, which is Jules Koundé. Now, like we've already said, this has just been a long-ass roller coaster, and I want to get off it. I'm tired of this. And Chelsea have also put themselves in this situation, because we could have had Koundé a month or two ago, and we wouldn't have even had to worry about Barcelona. It's expected that Chelsea are going to agree with a fee for around 55 million for Koundé today, but don't take my word for it at this point, because I've just heard every day 24 hours away, 24 hours away, 24 hours away, 24 hours away, and it's like, how many 24 hours do we need? Like, Koundé is holding this up because he wants to see Barcelona's offer, and he wants to gauge the offer between the pair of them. But Chelsea believe they've won the race for Koundé. Barcelona still haven't made a formal bid, and we did hear there was meant to be a deadline of Tuesday, or at least later on in the week, before Sevilla would tell Barcelona to walk away. And it seems like Barcelona have accepted that they can't match Chelsea's offer. Sevilla and Chelsea have an agreement, with just minor points now being finalised between the two sides. Fabrizio Romano also said Chelsea sent the paperwork to Sevilla for Jules Koundé during last night, and are now waiting for the final approval as they push to get a deal across the line. Jose Manuel Garcia also says Koundé had travelled with the Sevilla team to Portugal. He wasn't initially meant to, but because he was waiting for Barcelona's potential offer, he was willing to wait and went out to the squad for pre-season. But it seems that Barcelona won't be able to match their offer, and Barcelona's only real tactic was just trying to get the player to turn his head. And the player was keen on going to Barcelona over Chelsea as well, which I think is mainly in part due to how long we took to try and get this deal across the line, and us dropping our interest in him for De Ligt and Koulibaly too, which I get would be a kick in the teeth for any football player, especially after twerking for that club for over a year. So I understand him turning his head a little bit. But he's still willing to join Chelsea. It's not a Rafinha situation. If anything, it is the absolute reverse. And from Barcelona's point of view, they're afraid of whether or not they'd be able to register players, which is one of the reasons they aren't pressing Sevilla for Chelsea target Jules Koundé, which is what was said by Gerard Romero, which also just sounds like an excuse, because we know the situation with them registering players or not, but it still didn't stop them from generating interest and holding up this deal for as long as possible. So they must have thought for some ability they would be able to register him. But their club just seems like a giant mess. It doesn't make sense. They can't register their new players. I don't think Kessie or Christensen have been registered just yet, and they want to add another centre-back to it. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't get the appeal either, because they owe half their team money. They look to be going out of business in a few years, and they're a shell of their old side. They're literally relying on Twitter hashtags like Karma Koundé and just trying to lure players away from other targets with their aura and their prestige and their history and other loads of waffle like that. It makes absolutely no sense to me, but it looks like Koundé is leading towards Chelsea. Hopefully by tomorrow, a fee's agreed and this is all just done and finished, and we can move on to other targets, preferably forwards. But we'll move on to our final topic, and Tuchel could be stuck with unwanted players as Chelsea struggle to offload their flops. And as Chelsea tried to tie up a deal for Koundé, they've made little progress in selling unwanted players. Kepa and Werner, both of whom Tuchel want to listen to offers for, but no one has received any bids for them, and their wages are a major reason for it. The same thing for the likes of Hakim Ziyech, Michy Batshuayi, Bakayoko, Kennedy. I don't think Zappacosta's still here, but when he was here, that was still the issue as well. So far, the only offers we've received have been for players like Broja from West Ham and Levi Colwill, while we're attempting to sign defenders, but we can't get any forwards while we still have forwards that we're struggling to shift out. And this is 100% on Marina, by the way, because players like Kennedy, like Michy Batshuayi, like Bakayoko were all given new contracts in recent years in the hope that we could potentially sell them for decent amounts of money, even though their form and their loan clubs never once justified those wages. It was also for the sake of being able to get loan fees out of those players, which I kind of understand because we did get 11 million for Barkley when we loaned him out to Aston Villa. But there was other situations where we could have just cut these players off our books and we didn't do it. Dortmund wanted Michy Batshuayi in 2018 and Marina demanded 50 million. 50 million for Michy Batshuayi. Are you tapped? Even last year, Leeds wanted Michy Batshuayi. They offered 10 million and Marina said, I want 15. And then they pulled out of the deal. And it's like, what are you doing? Are you a hoarder? Do you have a weird obsession with hoarding players for no reason? What does Michy Batshuayi bring to the team? What did Bakayoko ever do? What did Kennedy do? Timo Werner came in on 260k a week, and now we can't shift him off because we've given him stupid wages. Kepa as well. 70 million for Kepa when we were haggling for 70 million with Alisson the month or two before that deal was brain dead and it shot us in the foot. And on a 7-year contract as well for an unproven goalkeeper on 150k a week. It was such a high risk move and clearly it hasn't worked out for us as well. Like, at least keeping Kepa gives us a decent backup at number 2. But we should be trying to shift these players off. And we can't because we're still dealing with the mess that Marina has left us in. So, we're stuck on that front. Expect a lot of our deadwood to still be at the club. And expect Tuchel to still have to try and find a way to make them work. Which is like, Tuchel ain't no miracle worker. He ain't going to be able to do it. And we're going to be stuck with the situation probably for another 2 years. It will take about another 2 years before I think all of our deadwood is gone from this club. So if you're wondering why we don't have a lot of depth, why we're struggling to get players in positions, there's Marina for you. And there's the reason behind it. Batshuayi and Bakayoko, like I already said, 100% on Marina's head. She could have got rid of them years ago if she was just willing to sell them at any price. Now we've got both of them on 100k a week plus still on our wage barrier. But hey, let's not re-sign Christensen and Rudiger, even though they only wanted 200k a week and sign-on fees. Nah, let's re-sign Batshuayi and Bakayoko though, because we can get loan fees out of them. It's utterly ridiculous, but that's the situation that we're stuck in here. And it's also because players won't lower their wage demands. Like Timo Werner's spoken about being happy anywhere and wanting minutes for the World Cup or stuff like that. And let's be real, if you want that, there's 2 ways you can go about it. No, there's 3 ways you can go about it actually. Number 1, you can get better. Number 2, you can lower your wage demands. Or number 3, you can put in a transfer request and give up all your bonuses and your agent fees. And then you can get your minutes. Those are the only ways you can do it. And number 1 seems impossible because we've seen you for 2 years and I don't think you're going to get any better. And number 2 or 3, that's on you, bro. Because I think if you lower your wage demands, Bundesliga clubs come in. And you can go to the Bundesliga, thrive and get your World Cup spot. But that's my rant over because we're going to be stuck with deadwood for another year or 2. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV. We will be back tomorrow for the Chelsea versus Arsenal watch along. So check that out. Let's hope we don't play like we did against Charlotte. And yeah, we'll see you guys for the next video. Take care, like and subscribe, and